Hi, Adva.
Hi, Talia.
Thank you so much for joining me today. I
Hey.
really wanted to talk to you because we are both Israeli women living outside of Israel for quite a long time,
Yes.
seeing what's happening both in Israel and in Gaza. And we met through this non-profit organization that you're part of, the Gaza Support Network. And we've both been supporting Palestinian families for almost a year. It's
Yep.
the 1st of January, 2026, but last year. And I just wanted to talk to you as Israeli women, as just human beings, really, talk about what's going on, talk
Mhm.
about anti-Semitism, anti-Muslim, anti-Zionism, talk about the Palestinians from our personal experience. And yeah, so maybe you could introduce yourself and then we'll just flow.
Okay. I'm Adva. I live in Canada. I've been living in Canada for 30 years now. Um, I have a family, as you can see, and a couple of dogs. And I'm a veterinarian. And I've gotten involved in this project just about a year after what happened in October, the 7th of October. After the genocide started, I felt very strongly that I needed to do something. I looked um, very hard to find something. I've done a few things, tried a few things, and then I stumbled on this project, and I just had to be a part of it.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about the project.
So the project is essentially it's a volunteer sort of led grassroots idea of getting groups of people together to take care of a family in Gaza.
Yeah.
So it started out just kind of on a very, I would say, individual basis. Just a, a one person got a few friends together and thought, we can do this. She made contact with a family in Gaza. They started talking, and she thought, I can get my friends together and we can help them out. We can just support them with, just to keep their heads above water.
Yeah.
And she talked about it on Facebook, and I stumbled on that little post and said, "Hey, I want to join," and it sort of grew, and there were more people. So she asked me if I could take care of, one of those networks, and I ended up with three at some point. um, and then it sort of grew to, be a few dozens. And so we thought, okay, maybe we need to have something more official. So we started a nonprofit organization registered in Canada in order to facilitate some of the contacts that we have and financial transfers. And you know, it's just grew from there.
Yeah.
So,
It's
yeah.
very unique. It's very unique.
Yes.
And I've
Yes.
just recently got, like a couple of
Hmm.
months ago, came into the organization. I've been
Hmm.
supporting a Palestinian family in Gaza for about 7 months and had some support from my family, my sister, my mother, my husband, and some friends. But really, it's a kind of a lonely experience if you don't have a group, because I felt very different from the Israelis around here. And like a minority, and when looking what's happening in Israel, also felt like a minority. And so I'm so happy to be part of this organization and to have Israeli women. It's mostly women, but Israeli women that are like-minded. I feel so connected again to Israel because I had this disconnect. I just felt that most of the people I just can't seem to have conversations with about the things that are really happening. And friends, families, I've really disconnected from almost everybody. And now I found I have both family in Gaza, a few families in Gaza and in the West Bank, and I reconnected to your organization and all the, I mean, I connected so to the Israeli women there and other a few men, but it's really wonderful. Um, we are quite a minority in this.
For sure. Yes. It felt the same for me, for sure. I felt very lonely after the genocide started because I was against it and so few people were. It was very taboo or wrong to be against it. So most of the people I knew stopped being my friends, and some family members stopped talking to me. Thankfully, not my immediate family, so it's not as bad as for some people, but
Yeah.
certainly it was hard. It was tough. You want to grieve. You want to grieve for your own country. You want to grieve for what's happening in Gaza, and you're alone in your grief, and it's hard to grieve alone. So finding this group was certainly felt very reassuring, very comforting, and that was one big thing for me is the possibility to talk again about the same things that I wanted to talk to people, people who would understand, people who would support what I'm doing, people who would understand the pain. It
Mm,
also gave me the opportunity to connect with people in Gaza, which was fascinating and amazing and sometimes painful.
yeah. Yeah. So we recently did an interview about our connection with Palestinian people in Gaza. It's in Hebrew. Hopefully, there'll be the English subtitles soon. But what feels important for you to talk about today?
I think it's really important for people to try to understand what it is to be a Jewish person who's not Israeli or who is, an expat who's no longer living in Israel, and the difference between being a Zionist and being Jewish.
Hmm.
Those are two completely different things. You can be Jewish and have no significant connection to Israel. In fact, most people who are Jewish can't even vote there.
Mm.
They don't, they're not citizens of that state. It's essentially just like being Catholic. If you're Catholic, it doesn't mean that you, you know, automatically get to vote in the Italian parliament. You are, the citizen of whatever country you are, and that's the difference. And I think it feels to me that those two things shouldn't be confused because it puts us Jewish people in danger as long as Israel tries to confuse the two terms. So
Yeah.
as long as Israel describes any criticism of itself as anti-Semitic, it makes us vulnerable because we are not part of those decisions. We don't vote. We don't have any influence on what the Israeli or the Israeli society does, and therefore we cannot be judged by the same, by the same token. We don't have any influence.
Yeah.
All the influence we have is our voice to say, this is wrong. I have the same voice when I talk about, the government of the United States or China. It still, doesn't, it's still very small influence. I'm sure
And do
the
you
Chinese
feel,
government doesn't care.
yeah, but do you feel being in Canada that because what's happening in Israel, you're labeled in a certain way, or do you have this feeling from
No,
personal experience?
no,
Yeah,
no.
neither do I,
Yeah,
actually.
yeah.
I live in South Portugal, and I mean what's happening in Israel and Gaza is everywhere, but
Hmm.
people know I'm Israeli and I don't feel that anybody
Hmm.
judges me in any way. I've never felt any anti-Semitism towards me ever. I've
No.
traveled all over the world. I've been everywhere. And but I feel that when we grow up in Israel, we're brainwashed that because any criticism against Israel is labeled anti-Semitism, and you cannot say it.
It's I think part of it is is fear mongering, giving Israelis the feeling that they're isolated, that they have something to fear for, that the only safe place is Israel.
Yeah,
And it's completely wrong. If you live anywhere else, you realize that really, you know, people judge me by who I am. They talk to me, and if they like me, they like me. And if they don't like me or my views, then they don't like me. But they don't judge me by my faith or by, my, anything else, by
yeah,
my genetic, background or my upbringing. They judge me by who I am.
yeah.
And I think that's a very, very different, that's a very important distinction to make. And I think that, in fact, people judge you less by your faith abroad than in Israel. In Israel,
That's
faith is everything.
yeah,
If you say I'm Jewish or I'm Muslim or I'm, you know, Christian, it means so, so much more
mm,
than here. I have friends I have way more friends who are religious here, and we never talk about religion. It's like, something that is private. It's what they do at home, and I don't need to be a part of it. I don't need to discuss it.
mm.
Um, you know,
You know,
yeah.
I speak to my Palestinian friends about God because one of the main
Mhm.
reasons of this conflict is like the
Yeah.
religion, the Muslims and the Jews and this God and
Yeah.
that God. And I always say to them, God is one. Do you really think there's a different God for the Christians, a different God for the Muslims, a different God for the Jews?
Mhm.
And we all agree, God
Yeah.
is one. There is one God for
Mhm.
everybody. And when I speak to these Palestinians directly, we agree on everything. We agree on God. We agree on religion. We agree on what are like the right way to behave and peace and everything. It's really, it seems like it's all coming from some kind of brainwashing that is controlling what's going on. But actually the people themselves just want peace. I know I kind of went in a different direction, but it connects for me. It connects.
Mhm.
But
I think that one of the major issues that I have with the Israeli mindset these days is that one of the main um, things, or one of the main viewpoints in Israel, is everybody or all the Palestinians are X.
yeah,
All the Palestinians are Hamas.
yeah,
All the Palestinians want to kill us. All of them are, such and such. And there's two things that concern me and make me quite angry when I hear that. Is that, number one, not all everybody, like, there is no group of people that is where everybody is all.
yeah,
It just does
totally.
not happen.
Yeah,
We are all
different.
separate. We're
Yeah,
all different.
yeah,
There is no ethnic group in this world where you can say they're all good people or they're all bad people.
yeah,
Sure, you can say they're all, you know, tall or they're all short, but, as people, they have different characters. Everybody is unique. There are no two people who are alike. How can we take, 2 million or more people and say
yeah,
they're all the same? It just
yeah,
doesn't happen. It
yeah.
does not exist in nature.
No,
Number one. Number two, isn't that exactly what they said about the Jews? All the Jews are, fill in the blank. Well,
yeah,
and we've always said this is incredibly racist.
yeah,
We've always felt this is this is what anti-Semitism is, to say
yeah.
all the Jews, have banks. All the Jews are rich. All the Jews are, uh, control the world.
This is
Well,
what's
if
so,
this is racist, if this is
yeah.
anti-Semitic, why are we saying it to someone else?
And,
It
but
just makes no sense.
it makes no sense. And it's so shocking that a country that
Yes.
was created after the Second World War by Jews that came from all over, but a lot from the Second World War survivors. And we're doing this and nobody sees it. It's very few see it. It's
Yeah.
absolutely shocking. I can't get my head around it.
I think there's been a lot of brainwashing through the years,
Yeah,
a lot of misinformation, a lot of lack of information. And there's been a very concrete effort over the years to really separate the two people. And as long
yeah,
as you're separate and you don't know each other, it's easy to then say things like that because you just don't know. The more isolated people are, the the less trusting they are. The more
yeah,
I know you, the less likely I am to say, "Oh my God, Talia, she's a horrible person," because I know you. I've been to your house. I've
yeah.
eaten your food.
Well, if I think about it, like growing up in Israel, so from the kindergarten, all the holidays, all the stuff where it's all very Jewish, and there's always in there that they want to kill us. We always have to protect ourselves. Everybody wants to kill the Jews. Then we're surrounded by Arabs. They all want to kill us, and we call everybody's Arabs, and also the Palestinian are Arabs. They're
Yeah,
actually Palestinians. They're not
yeah,
Arabs. But
yes,
anyways, we call them Arabs. There's this real brainwashing that everybody wants to kill us. And this is our only country.
yeah.
It's,
I think there's even that joke about Jewish holidays that are they wanted to kill us. We won. Let's eat. It's the summation of every holiday out there, basically. But yes, it's, we've always lived with this feeling, with this a notion, dripped into our brains, reinforced by different means, culturally, through the media, through, every interaction that we have, that, people just want to kill us. And
yeah,
we need to protect ourselves, and it's very pervasive. It's very difficult to get yourself out of that mindset. It's very,
very
very difficult. It's
difficult.
kind of like a cult almost.
It
You
is.
have to reprogram yourself. And reprogramming yourself is difficult because once you start to see the things, once you start to see the propaganda, once you start to see where you've been duped into certain beliefs, how you've been manipulated into those
Mm,
beliefs, you feel the lie, and you feel how your personality almost is being broken because you've come to believe certain things about yourself.
yeah,
And all of a sudden, you have to face the fact that those things are lies. And now, what do you do with yourself?
yeah,
So, being able to do this, to take this road, is not easy.
yeah,
And I think that's why many people prefer to pretend like it's not there. Even though we are banging our head against the wall and saying, look, it's right there, you know?
but they can't see it. I don't even know if they prefer not to look at it. The brainwashing is so deep, and the
Yeah.
fear is so deep
Yeah.
that,
It's
yeah,
very much a multi-layered, and it's different for different people. Some
yeah,
people are very happy to feel victimized and to feel justified. They're just happy with that. Just like we have the MAGA crowd in the US, they're just happy have to have been allowed to let those um, you know racist, misogynist feelings out, and they're basking in it. And that's one subset of people. But I think there are other subsets, and some people really don't see. They would like to see, but they can't. Some people see, or they almost see, but going there is so painful, they just recoil. And in order to protect themselves mentally, and mental, like their mental health, they just pretend like it doesn't exist. And when you tell yourself a lie enough times, you just start to believe it.
yeah,
And I think that some people see it, but are too afraid to leave, the consensus. It's
I
hard
think,
to get out of your cult.
yeah, but I think Israel is a very good example of a country that is full of trauma that hasn't been processed. And we
Yes,
revisit our trauma on somebody else, which is
yes,
shocking. But I just,
yes.
because if we would, as Jews, as Israelis, actually process the trauma of the Second World War, really go into it, grieve it, get rid of, like, feel it, then we wouldn't go and revisit this on the Palestinians. But there's so much fear inside. The fear is being pumped up by the media, the country. I don't know. It's even beyond. It's not even Bibi. It's beyond. There's something
Oh,
bigger, way
yes.
bigger. It's everybody's Bibi, Bibi. It's not Bibi. He's just a puppet. It's beyond. But if we would actually process our trauma, it wouldn't matter what anybody would tell us, which war we should go to. We wouldn't be going to war. But the
Yeah.
country was created so quickly after the Second World War. All the trauma, the whole thing is just to create a country for the Jews, a place that's safe for the Jews. Never again for the Holocaust. You hear that another thing that's drilled in Israel all the time on the news, on the history channels, in school, Holocaust, Holocaust, Holocaust. And I'm not belittling the Holocaust. I'm a
No, not at
first
all.
generation Holocaust survivor, and my whole family died in the Holocaust from my father's side. Anyways, but we didn't process it. And then it's so easy to actually get us just to go to war, to save the country. And yeah, it's so sad. It's just so sad because if we would feel our emotions and clear them, it would be
Yeah,
different.
processing trauma is a difficult thing to do as a person on an
We're not
individual
taught.
basis.
Yeah,
It's difficult to do on a societal level for sure. And when it is beneficial for other entities to maintain this trauma in order
yeah,
to ferment wars, in order to sell guns and
weapons.
and
Yeah,
weapons, then there's really no hope for it. The only hope for this to break the cycle is us. This We are the only hope. We are the only possibility by getting in touch with other people, our enemy,
yeah.
and saying, "Hey, I see you as a human being," and that's the only way. Um, yeah.
Plus processing our trauma, because I know
Yes.
that a lot of us are helping Palestinian people, and I'm one of them. But there's trauma in there that we heal while we're helping in some sort of a way. And why are we helping Palestinians and not helping people from Sudan, or or like, there's so much. But I still
I
feel sorry.
I feel that the distinction between why we do this for Gaza and not for Sudan or Darfur or any other place is because we do carry a certain amount of guilt. So this is ours to repair. We've benefited from this ongoing, ethnic cleansing to
Yeah,
some extent by
yeah,
having lived in Israel. I don't expect that all Jews would feel this way, but people who have no connection to Israel, who've lived somewhere else. But I, as a Israeli person who's been to the army, who's lived in Israel my whole young life, I feel a certain amount of shame and responsibility.
yeah,
And so it is important for me to do what I can to fix this. It's
yeah,
different for me I feel differently about things that are going on in other countries where I have a lot less connection to and less responsibility. I still
yeah,
grieve them. It's still horrible. I wouldn't say it's a good thing. But there's only so much I can do. And I think it's
yeah,
important for me to do the thing that I'm responsible for, because that's what I can actually do.
yeah. Yeah. No, I get it. I have more of a connection to helping Palestinian people
Mhm.
versus helping people in other war zones, even
Yeah.
though I know in my heart that people are people, everybody's equal and our
Yeah.
responsibility for everything is equal, really. I mean,
Yeah.
even though in Israel, we feel more responsible because we're part of we're Israelis, like you said, went to the army, lived in Israel and everything, but still, I know in my heart that I should feel the same for everybody. But I have a strong connection to helping the people in Gaza and in the West Bank, the Palestinians. I do. I mean, a strong pull to help them.
Yeah.
And what is so interesting is that while getting to know the Palestinian people, and I knew them very little, I just knew a little bit. I had some Palestinian workers. I mean, I had a cake business in Israel for many years, and I had Palestinian workers, and I always thought there were nice people and everything. But now it's different. Let's talk a little bit about our personal connection with the Palestinian people, because I think it's interesting.
I think so. I had very little to no connection. Um, I was about, I was in my 20s when I left Israel. I didn't seek it. At the time, I was left wing. I was hoping for peace, but it didn't seem like I needed to know people in order to advocate for peace and the cessation of the occupation. Once the genocide started and I felt compelled to help people, I needed to form some sort of connection. I needed to get in touch with these people, with the Palestinians on the other side of the wall, talk to them, get to know them, and form a bond. And uh, it's a beautiful world out there. It's a completely different culture. It's a beautiful culture. People are incredibly interesting. They're incredibly warm,
Really
and
intelligent,
very intelligent,
super intelligent.
incredibly well educated.
Yeah,
And it was just really um, a wonderful feeling of discovery. You
yeah,
discover a brand new culture, and that is always fascinating. People travel the whole world for this purpose. They want
yeah,
to see new places, they want to discover new cultures, they want to meet new people, and that's what we did. It's still fascinating, and it was a wonderful experience to be part of their lives and let them become part of my life. And that's what I think people should understand, is that people are people. There
yeah,
are no, lesser people. People are still the same on either side of any wall that we, imaginary or otherwise, that we set up. They are still human, they're still loving, they're still hating, they're still grieving, they're still happy. They're all the same.
yeah,
And those connections are different from the different people that I know. I form different connections because they're different people. Some
yeah,
people let me get closer. Some people are more reserved. With some people, the connection was sparked like that, and we became very close friends. And some people are, not as close, not as revealing, still warm, still respectful, still loving, but just it's not on the
yeah,
same level.
yeah,
Just like with everybody in the world that I know.
yeah,
So I think that's a really if there was one thing that I want people to take away from this, is that don't be afraid to make a connection with people.
yeah,
Everybody's a person. Everybody's
yeah,
human.
yeah, yeah. As Israelis, where they disconnect us from the Palestinians, it is, there are not many Israelis, there are some, but that have actual friendships and connections with Palestinian people. And when I, like just recently was started this connection, I was so excited to be in touch with people from Gaza. I mean, and I felt
Hmm.
such a
Hmm.
warmth and connection and love and so quickly. And it's
Yeah.
something that has been taken away from us. It's so sad because the Israeli people and the Palestinian people, we're so similar. We're brothers. We're brothers. And this has been taken away from us. We've fallen into the trap of being the perpetrators.
Yeah.
It's,
I do feel that certainly some aspect of what life in Israel could have been has been taken away, has been stolen effectively, for us and for the Palestinians.
yeah,
They missed on knowing what, being Jewish can be. There are beautiful aspects of Judaism and some that are maybe not so pleasant. There are beautiful aspects of being a Palestinian Muslim or otherwise, and some of them are great and some of them maybe not so much. But we missed on that cross pollination. We missed on that connection and the ability to make something, you know, grow from that connection, because
yeah.
it's through connections that we evolve. I mean, this is basic biology. We improve by cross pollinating, by learning, by making those changes based on what we see and what we learn. And we missed so much. We missed so much.
Yes, and then people would have married each other. I mean, it wouldn't. They needed to separate us in order to keep this
Yeah,
war going, this conflict
arbitrary.
going.
Yeah, arbitrary. Distinction between people.
Yeah,
And yeah, I think it's a shame. I think that's where we all fall down, is when we try to make these distinctions between, I am this way and you are that way, and therefore we cannot come together, when in fact the Jewish religion has, for centuries, been thriving on those connections, especially with, the Muslims in different Arab worlds.
yes. Hmm.
There's mountains and mountains of studies and information and, new developments that came into Judaism because of that interaction with
Yeah.
Muslims and with
Mm,
Christians. So, we've been greater, we've been better
yeah.
by opening ourselves, and we've shut ourselves down. And what did we get? We've become smaller and racist and vengeful.
Yeah,
So,
just protecting
yeah,
this army base that is
yes,
supposedly the
yeah,
safe country for the Jews.
yeah.
It's
I
probably
don't.
the least safe country for the Jews to be in.
Yeah, yeah. How many Jewish people died in Israel in the past 2 years, and how many Jewish people died anywhere else? Yeah, around the world.
And how many
Yeah,
wars have there been since the
yeah,
creation of Israel?
yes, yeah, yeah, yeah. Certainly, certainly.
But I feel that this thing of seeing only our side and not being open to connect with the Palestinian people is not just an Israeli thing, but it's a Jewish thing, because I have a lot of family in Canada. My mother's Canadian.
Yeah,
And so I've been trying to help this Palestinian family get out, and
yeah.
they have family in
In
Canada.
Canada.
It's all very Canadian. And they submitted family reunification visas somewhere in 2023, a long time ago. The whole thing is so stalled. It's not moving. Canada is saying
Mhm.
their hands are tied. It's
Yeah.
all, we took, I found a lawyer that's,
Mhm.
a refugee, deals with refugees, and we took her on board. And I wrote my Canadian family and I told them, listen, I'm trying to raise $5,000 to support this family so we could take this lawyer to help them get into Canada. Nobody answered me. One young guy, a relative, that he's half a
Mhm.
his mother was Christian, his father was Jewish, but he grew up with a Christian mother that tried to do some Jewish stuff for him. That they celebrated some holidays. He's the only one out of more than 20 people that actually acknowledged and supported. And there's other people that supported, friends, and eventually we and my mother paid for most of the lawyer's fees. But I was so surprised that my Jewish family wouldn't even write anything, wouldn't even answer, wouldn't even acknowledge, nothing. A week later was my birthday, get all these happy birthday wishes, totally ignoring my email.
Mhm.
So there's something also, and of course this is not everybody, but there's something also in the Jewish, like in a way, Is it guilt? You don't want to go against the Israeli country? Do you not even see what's happening? You're totally blind. I can't get it. My family till today, and it's just nobody's said anything.
I think there is a big part of the what's called the Hasbara machine that is essentially the Israeli outgoing propaganda machine that they've been perfecting for many, 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 many years, and have invested millions of dollars into, or billions even. And it's very strong. It's very, very strong. There are trips to Israel for for Jews around, for diaspora Jews, for young people to come to Israel and be you know
Brainwashed.
introduced indoctrinated into the cult of
Yeah,
everybody wants to kill us. Israel is the best place. We've never done anything wrong. We're the
yeah,
most moral in the world.
yeah.
Um, and that Hasbara, it's yes, it's propaganda, but it also gives you something nice to feel about yourself. It tells you that you're better than everybody else. We're the light for for the
For
goyim,
the
for the
goys,
for the Gentiles.
yeah.
We're the chosen people. We're better than
We've
everybody
been
else.
chosen to fall into the
Yes,
trap of being
yes,
perpetrators, and
yes.
that's what, and keep the war going. We've been
Yeah.
chosen for that, actually.
Yeah, and but if you don't think about that, it makes you feel very special. You're not the sort of that stereotypical Jew that will never be athletic, or will never be successful, kind of like whatever stereotype you carry in your mind. Now you're special. You have superpowers. You're better than everybody else. Everybody wants to be that, and people fall into this. They don't want to let go of that feeling, of that specialness,
That
and it's
arrogance.
very, yeah, and it's very, very, very dangerous. It's
Yeah.
very dangerous because we're not better. We're
No.
not better than we're not worse. We're not worse, but we're not better. We're certainly not better than anyone else. And yeah, that idea of this specialness that has been, you know, drilled into our brains is, I think, the almost like the that basis for all these horrendous feelings, or actions that people have been you know taking, because as long as you think that you're better than everybody else, then the laws don't apply to you.
Which is
And yeah,
absolutely horrific.
yeah, yeah,
Horrific, and I don't know why the whole world is supporting Israel. I mean, when I say the whole world, I'm saying more the governments. The
yeah.
people, I think of, Israel for some reason is allowed to do things that other countries cannot do.
No.
And Israel cannot be criticized because that's anti-Semitic. And people cannot criticize Israel or come out and say really what they feel. And people in Israel can't even send money to Gaza if they want to.
Yeah.
We can, because we're out of Israel, so we can.
Israel. Yeah.
There's something so crazy going on.
It's more than that, even, because not only the governments of in the Western world are just standing aside and letting this unfold, but they're doing this in complete disregard to huge protests.
Yeah,
So, in fact, their citizens are telling them, like large majority of the citizenships are saying, you need to stop this. And, instead, like you can see in the UK, those people are being put in jail, and
yeah,
in ridiculous ways. They will take literally grannies in wheelchairs and put
yeah,
them in the paddy wagon and say, you're committing a terrorist act because you're holding a sign that says stop killing, Gazan babies.
yeah,
It's absolutely ludicrous that these things are even happening in a normal, rational, state. That would not happen.
yeah.
So why is this happening? Where is that complete disconnect between governments and citizens? Where does this come from?
Yeah.
What is the basis of that? Where did it start, and why is this happening? And I
And
think,
it's getting worse.
yeah, and I think if there's anything good about this genocide, and there's almost nothing good, but if there's anything that can come out of this, is that it essentially tore that blindfold of our eyes to see that how little influence we have on our governments. Yes, we vote and we do the things that we need to do as citizens, but we essentially have so little impact.
Yeah.
We say what we want to say or what we want to be done in our name, and our country does not listen.
And
Canada
is
is a
the
signature
government, and
Canada is a signatory of the, it's part of the UN, signatory of the Geneva Convention, signatory of all the international laws governing, the international law, and yet Canada has let Benjamin Netanyahu's plane go over its airspace, even though Benjamin Netanyahu has a arrest warrant against him, and letting them go into or get into Canadian airspace is against the law. It's
yeah,
against international law,
yeah,
and Mr. Carney decided that that was okay. How is that even possible?
because the government, I mean, you vote and whatever, but really they're also just puppets. I mean, if you cannot see that this is all a shit show by puppets that are being controlled by I
Yes.
don't know who, yeah,
Yeah.
but it's so clear that it's a show, and
Yeah.
the governments are not the ones in control actually.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if it's not the government's in control, or the fact that the governments just don't really care, because we've come to an age where there are no consequences. I can
Yeah,
do this as the Prime Minister of Canada. I can break the law and nothing will happen. And
yeah,
nothing will happen. No one will
no,
stand up and say, hey, buddy,
no,
no. No.
no,
So there are no consequences. There are no consequences for Donald Trump. There are no consequences for, Mark Carney. There are no consequences for,
Bibi,
for Benjamin Netanyahu. There are no consequences for the leaders of the, European countries. So they
yeah,
do what they want,
yeah,
and what suits them. And that's, and in terms of, Mark Carney, well, it suited him to not get in trouble with, Trump and the, American government. It suited him not to upset the apple cart, by having some kind of, very showy declaration. So he did it. Why not?
yeah,
And that is the most infuriating thing, because what came out of the Second World War and the genocide that happened there, not
yeah,
just of Jews, by the way, there were
yeah,
other
yeah,
ethnic groups that were killed and
yeah,
genocided. What came out of that was the UN and the Geneva Conventions and international law, and all of those safeguards that were put in order to prevent this from happening again. And they were put in, uh, by and large, with the cooperation of very known Jewish people who, helped set
makes me
that up.
wonder, makes me
Yes,
wonder,
they were there to say, we need to make sure this stops. We need to put a framework in place so that
yeah,
we can protect the weak countries, the weak people, the weak ethnic minorities, so that does not happen again. And then here we are,
yeah.
completely disregarding everything.
We are doing it now.
Yes.
Like
Yeah. Yeah.
it's wild.
All of the Western world is contributing to this. All
Everybody's
of it. Yeah.
contributing, but
Yeah. Yeah.
the Israel is the one that's actually doing the action.
Or
Take is
yes.
yeah.
Yes.
We're
Yeah.
we're the perpetrators doing it. So
Yes. Yeah.
of course everybody's supporting it, but it's yeah,
I asked ChatGPT last night what it thinks our chances are, and And its opinion was, we're probably not headed towards the zombie apocalypse anytime soon, but it's probably not going to get better quick. It's not going to
Yeah.
get better anytime soon.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. I
Yeah.
want to hope that small um, grassroots changes are going to be the hope for the next, decades, maybe. But it's hard to see right now. I want
Yeah.
to say our, our force, our project, our, initiative, connecting to people, trying to, to form this bridge is one of those, grassroots initiatives. I want to say that, Zoran Mamdani becoming the mayor of New York is one of those, hopeful changes.
Mm.
You know, you want to hope that little by little we're going to be able to retake the world from the hate mongering. But it's,
Yeah.
that's all you can do is hope.
Yeah. Hate and
And
greed.
yes,
Money.
yes,
Money makes
yes,
the world go round.
yes, for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But also, I always go back to we, all of us, cherish our family and our children more than other children. We always care for our kids more. And the more we work on really feeling that we're just all family, not even everybody in the world, we're all family, and not never put our child over any other child, because there's no way in the world anybody would go and kill other children if you really in your heart felt that your children and the other children are equal. And that's where I feel there's a contribution of every person to wars, even though it's hard to kind of see it, but we really all our friends, our family, our children, our parents are more important than other people. And then they can, they can get us to go to war. Otherwise, people wouldn't go to war if we really saw everybody equal.
I think that's certainly important to remember. I think that getting to a point where you can go and feel justified killing other people is um, is get going very, very far into the realm of hate and inhumanity. I can't imagine having committing this act. I can't imagine taking a life. And I understand, self defense. I understand, the issues of, being, um, you know, being a victim of aggression or things like that. But I think as a Israeli person in the past, going to the army and being taught that it was okay to shoot at people who've done nothing wrong to me, that
Yeah,
is the part where I feel you're breaking away from your own humanity. You
yeah,
know, it's not like I'm, responding to an act of aggression that was committed on me.
mm,
And
yeah,
when I went to the army, it was in the 1990s. It was very, very long time ago.
yeah,
And, the October 7th, has not happened. So I have no vengeance upon these people. I had no anger towards them, but I willingly went into an army that told me it was okay to carry a gun, and when told to do so, shoot at people.
yeah,
And, luckily I didn't have to do it. And I'm very happy that I got away from this, because I think of all of the other traumas that I carry now, that would have been one major one
yeah,
that thankfully I don't have to deal with. But other people are,
yeah,
and part of the reason why I wanted to leave Israel was because I didn't want to put my children in that situation. I didn't
hmm,
want them to carry this horrendous guilt of having had you're essentially brainwashed to do things that you're, diametrically opposed to morally.
Yeah.
I think, they call it now a moral trauma. And, and a lot of people carry that in
A
Israel.
lot. And a lot
Yeah.
of people are leaving Israel. The
Yes.
numbers are
Yeah.
huge.
Yes.
And there's
Yes.
a lot of suicide in Israel,
Yeah.
soldier,
Yeah.
committing
Yeah.
suicide. It's
Yeah.
awful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we as, as parents if we were in Israel, are willingly sacrificing
Unbelievable.
our children
Yeah.
to this war machine, even though we know that it's wrong. I
Yeah.
had a big, Facebook fight with this mother who put a post on her Facebook page saying, "Stop the war, we need to stop the genocide." And the second post below it was, "My son is, going, is a soldier.
Yeah.
He's going into Gaza. Make the war stop." And I said, why are you asking us? We're not making this war. Your
Yeah.
son is. Why
Yeah.
don't you stand by the door to your house and say, you cannot leave. You
Yeah.
cannot go.
Better to go to jail. Go
Yes.
to jail. Because you
Or,
can't
yeah,
not go to the army, but go to jail. If everybody would do that, like,
you
what are you
can.
doing?
I mean, if you're enlisted, you can't just leave. You'd be AWOL.
Yeah.
But a lot of the if you're a conscript, but a lot of the reserve people just didn't show up.
Yeah.
They just didn't show up, and
Yeah.
nothing happened. They
Yeah.
couldn't just incarcerate hundreds of thousands of reservists. It was
Yeah.
just not. So they just went, okay, never mind. But that is that dissonance. She was able to not put two and two together. And she was
Yeah.
so angry at me when I said, your son is a war criminal.
Yeah.
You're saying so yourselves because you're saying that war is wrong. So if
Yeah.
that war is wrong and your son is in the army, your son is wrong. I said, well, he's not shooting at anybody. He's only a medic. What's the difference? He is in the army. He's saving soldiers so that they can go back and kill.
And this isn't
It doesn't
even a
make any
war
difference.
to protect Israel.
Yeah,
It's not.
exactly.
This is not.
It's that mind-boggling ability to completely separate these two issues.
Yeah.
I need to let my son go to war because that's what I do as a Israeli mother. But I
Yeah.
also think this war is wrong and I need to make it stop.
Yeah. And being so proud,
Yes.
the
Yes.
pride that parents have when they take their
Yes.
kids to go into the army,
Yes.
or when
Yes. Yes.
the son's a pilot, or he's like, wow, what's wrong with you? It's when you get out of it, because when I went to the army in 1989, I was enrolled into the army. I had no idea. I just did it because that's what I was supposed to do. I didn't think even that I could say, I don't believe in this. And my parents also, my father was kind of excited. Like, it was what you do. You don't even think about it, but I can't believe that I didn't think about it. Now, I would never, but it's just the brainwashing, and you just do what you're told.
Yeah. It's like taxes. You don't think about paying your taxes. You just do it because it's the law. Well, it was
We
the
can
same
ask
thing
questions about that one too, but that's another thing.
we you went to school because that's what you did, and I have questions about that too.
Yeah.
You went to the army because that's what everybody did, and then you went to university because that's what everybody does, and you just go with the flow.
And we don't question it.
And we don't question it.
In Israel, it's very normal to have soldiers walking around with guns. I would come home with my M16. That's the way I was. I was an officer and I had my gun.
Yeah.
But Diarmid, my Irish husband, when he came to Israel, he just couldn't he's very sensitive. And he was like, what's going on here? Like, all these soldiers, all these guns, every mall you walk into, you're checked. Do you have a gun? Do you not have a gun? Like, it's wild. It's a wild way to grow up.
Yes, 100%.
And that's
100%.
why when we get to the age of 18, we just go and we do what we're told and we don't think about it. And it's you really have to break out of the spell. It's a spell.
Yeah. We recently had a discussion about therapists, for certain people, were discussing the fact that they were uh, having, very deep issues with the pain and the trauma that they're living or seeing the Palestinians live with, and they wanted to talk to a therapist to try to process through that. And we discussed whether or not it was better to talk to somebody from Israel who had the knowledge and the understanding of all the different, like the finer details of what our past is and could be more responsive to that, versus going to somebody who is, from North America or Europe,
Mm,
has no knowledge, and then by describing what you've actually been through, how you've lived, what your culture looks like,
yeah,
and seeing it through their eyes,
yeah,
understanding how, you know, effed up it is, to put it in those, those words,
yeah.
understanding that there's nothing normal about this. There's nothing normal about this.
No, no.
No.
Well, yeah. I don't know if we talked about everything I wanted to talk about, or we wanted to talk about, but we've talked about quite a bit.
Yeah,
I think maybe we're gonna start rounding it up. I'm
sure.
wondering, Adra, if there's anything else you'd like to say before we end.
Well, this being the first day of January 2026, um, I feel torn between wanting to have hope and wanting my family in Gaza, my families in Gaza, to finish 2026 in a much, much, much better condition
Yeah,
than it starts. And on the other side, having such little hope that it'll happen.
I don't have
and
very
and
much
that's
hope.
where
Yeah,
I bounce between these two things. I want to believe on the one hand, but I feel that, that desire, that hope could be painful when it shatters.
yeah,
So I don't know. I really, really want to believe that we can, we can be better. We
yeah,
can be better as humanity.
yeah, yeah,
We can justify our existence in some way. Yeah.
yeah,
I don't know. I don't
yeah.
know. It's once you start seeing, it's so hard to unsee. Once you start opening your eyes and understanding how terrible this have been, it's so hard to crawl back under your rock.
It's
It's
impossible.
impossible to,
No.
yeah.
Yeah,
And it's, I it's
yeah.
painful. It's painful to have to live with those feelings, those emotions. It is very painful. But in some ways, it's the price you have to pay for being a good human being. You have to pay. You get the love, you get the connection, you get the wonderful world of meeting new people and loving them. But you get to share their pain, and pain is, even shared pain is painful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, from yesterday and today, all messages from Gaza of Happy New Year and how you're celebrating, and
Yes. Yes.
it hurts. It
Yeah.
hurts when they're
Yeah.
stuck there, can't get out,
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
tents, in the rain, in the
Yeah.
cold, and it just
Yeah.
hurts. I don't know. I really hope, I pray that something is gonna happen.
Me too.
Yeah,
And to some extent, that's why we're here. That's why we're here, because even if there's no hope, we're still going to fight. We're still going to do our best to carry this message. We help our families, we support them financially, we support them mentally, and we support them by telling them we see you, and we're going to do our best to have the rest of the world see you. You're
yeah,
beautiful people, and we love you.
beautiful. Yeah, beautiful people.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about their beautiful culture, I think, too much, but beautiful people with a beautiful
Yeah.
culture that
Yeah.
is no we don't know about. Israelis certainly don't know about.
Yes.
And when you
Yeah.
connect to them, it's
Yeah.
just wow. It's
Yeah.
so heart opening. And
Yeah.
just before we end, I know there's a lot of people that are anti-Islamic. And so, the Palestinians are kind of part of that, and we don't want more Islam in our countries. But from our experience and from my experience, they're just beautiful people that just want to live in peace and just want to have a life, really.
It goes back to the same thing, it's Muslims, it used to be Jews, before that it was Roma people. We always find a minority and then we say these people are the root of all evil.
Yeah,
And it's not, the name of the ethnic minority is, just fill in the blank. If it's not the Muslims, it'll be someone else tomorrow. And
mm,
so it's not being anti-Muslim. It's just be anti-racist.
yeah,
Just be anti-racist or
yeah,
anti-racism. It's just as simple as that.
yeah.
Just don't
And
be
this
racist.
thing that everybody's Hamas, like in Israel, it's
Yeah.
they're all Hamas and they all want to kill us. There is Hamas, of course, but that's not everybody.
There's also Ben Gvir, and there's also Smotrich, and
Exactly,
there's also Benjamin Netanyahu, and there's also
exactly. Yeah,
so, so,
all the
so many
puppets.
people.
Hamas are probably part of the puppets. Yeah. Okay.
So I guess Happy New Year, or
Yeah.
such as it is.
Yeah.
Um, we're not super optimistic, but we
No.
try to be.
Yeah. Okay.
Try to be.
Yeah. Thank you so much,
Um,
Adva.
You're very welcome. Thank you.